Hello all. My message today goes to women. This message is mostly to women. We love women so much. In fact, they are, as created by God, the powerhouse of the world. That's a reality. The place of women is not designed by men, but by God Himself, who created man and woman. But what I want to tell women is that women, sometimes you have to stand up for what you are actually standing for and stop playing the victim. You are not victims. God did not create a woman to be a victim or to be victimized all the time. But before I go into this, I invite you to watch this.
Yes, so many people do not know what I'm about to say, but I'm going to speak my own truth. And the Senate President is allowed to counter that. It all started on the 8th of December, 2023, which was a day before his birthday and my birthday. We are birthday mates. We were all in Akpabio because he had a big fanfare in the stadium. Myself, my husband, and a few of his close friends, we went to Akpabio. And at first we were at Ikot-Ekpene. We were in his house in Ikot-Ekpene. Then we all moved to his house in Uyo, which was about 8 p.m. And he held my hand and said he wanted to show me around his house. My husband was walking behind us, just 3 of us. We're walking around from room to room. He showed me the beautiful interior. This was done by this, by that, this designer here, he bought this from. I was like, oh, it's beautiful. And then I noticed that he hastened his pace while still holding my hand. And my husband was behind, still on his phone, but he was catching up whenever he could. And then he got to this particular sitting room and he said, do you like my house? I said, of course, sir. Every room, beautiful, nice interior, quality taste. He said, now that you're a senator, I'm going to create a time for us to come spend quality moments here. You will enjoy it. At that point, I just pulled away and I was like, I don't really understand what exactly that meant. But then my husband now, when I turned around, I saw my husband was already near me. And the way my husband looked at me and looked at him, I was beginning to wonder, did he hear part of that inciting statements or not? And then the Senate President too, I saw that he also had that thought, like, did my husband hear the invitation to treat or not? So then the Senate President now said, oh, by the way, let me show you my chapel. He has a chapel in his house as well. So while we were going to the chapel, we walked in silence and all. So that evening, before we left the Senate President's house at about 11 midnight to the 4 points in Ikot-Ekpene. And my husband asked me, Natasha, what did the Senate President whisper to you? What's he telling you? I thought, should I tell him that he was speaking about bringing me in here at a special time for us to have a good time? Or should I just kill it there, wrap it as if there was nothing? Because tomorrow was a big day. I know how much my husband adores the Senate President. He loves him as a brother. My husband would do anything to support him. So I told my husband, nothing. I can't remember what I created, but I just gave him some words to manage, to mask what was said. After, when we laid in bed, I lay to my right and my husband wrapped his arms around me and he said, my love, you can't tell me anything. What did the Senate President tell you? Again, I was like, don't you believe me? I said, nothing. Nothing. Moreover, it's my birthday in a few minutes. Let's just be happy. Then my husband told me he doesn't want to see me travel out of the country alone and I should not go to the Senate President's house because he has a guest house where many senators do go there, after office to get approvals and all that. So I told him, okay, no problems. That was it. I thought that was going to be the end. But then, in February, I wanted to move a motion. I wanted to move a motion for the investigation on the ills of corrupt practice in Ajakuta Steel Company. I listed that motion 5 times. It was the 6th time that it was listed on the order paper that was approved. Many senators can testify to that. Each time the motion is listed, just before he takes it, he will say, oh, Senator Natasha, we can't take this motion because the board of the Senate does not accommodate it. Or he will speak on others and then let it drag so that just before the motion is taken, the time will be well spent and won't. So he kept on doing that. I went to him in his office and I said, Senate President, you know how important this Ajaokuta Steel Company to me is. You know how important it is to my people and to Nigerians. I've noticed that you have stepped down this motion. As a matter of fact, a number of senators told me, go and see him and plead with him so that he would take it. I was like, sir, please, why can't you take this motion? It's very important. It's been listed. Then it was listed the third time and stepped down. He then said, Natasha, I'm the chief presiding officer of the Senate. You can enjoy a whole lot if you take care of me, make me happy. At that point, I said, sir, I'll pretend that I didn't hear this. He said, well, the ball is in your court. I left his office, and when I got home, I told my husband, I didn't tell my husband what happened. I just told my husband, please, can you speak to the Senate President to allow my motion to scale through? I think I also spoke to the DSP, to the leader, Senator Pemi. I spoke to a number of senators that they should please intervene and allow him to laugh. I never told them what happened. My husband had to take a trip to London. Then the Senate President traveled to London. My husband met with the Senate President in London and pleaded with him. Let my wife take this motion on Ajaokuta. That is very important to her.
Okay. All right, Senator Natasha.
He said, okay, that he did not take it because he was protecting me. Hold on, please. He didn't take it because he was protecting me. Protecting me from what? Anyway, at the time my demotion was taken, it was the Deputy Senate President, His Excellency Barao, that actually sat. The Senate President stood up and walked out. So it was Senator Barao that actually took it.
All right, Senator Natasha.
And from there,
Natasha.
Madam Natasha, you may have a very good case, but once you bring sex in any serious issue, you lose it. As a lawyer and as a senator, a politician, you understand this better. You may have some strong reasons to do what you're doing, but bringing sex, bringing a proposed and a supposed relationship between you and Senator Akpabio in the scene already makes you weak in the face of adversary. I'm not a lawyer, but I've won lawyers in cases in court. Sometimes a lot of people forget that the court is not about emotions. It's about facts and how you can defend this fact. No matter what you may have in the Senate, with the Senate President, first of all, coming on TV to air it out shows your immaturity. It shows that you don't understand how Senate functions. If every senator was to come out on TV to tell us what has been happening in the Senate, then we will not even have time to do our own things. I feel that Senator Natasha is not supposed to be a senator. And moreover, being a lawyer, someone that understands how the law operates and how this thing operates, should know that once you've filed a lawsuit against somebody, you're not supposed to come on TV. You're not supposed to even air it out, because it is like, this thing is beyond my power, so I give it to the judiciary. And when you give it to the judiciary, you let it go. You defend your case, and not by coming on TV. And then when we listen to what she said, listen, sometimes when people come on TV, they ridicule themselves without knowing. I'm not here to say if Senator Akpabio made advances to her or not. And for me, listen, I always say it, and I talk to a lot of people that I train. I say, for a man to make an advance towards you, it's not abnormal. It's just normal. A man can make advances towards you. It's not an issue. A lot of women go through that in their day-to-day activities, but they know how to handle it so that it doesn't affect their professionalism and the people they are. So it's not an issue. And I am certainly sure that the fact that Senator Akpabio made these advances towards you, blindfolded your understanding of the Senate rules and regulations to the extent that you feel that whatever he is doing towards you is based on the fact that he made advances towards you, instead of looking critically at what is on the show. Does the Senate president has a right to change your seat? If yes, then there is just no problem there, so far as the right is given. You talked of, if you have followed this video, for those of you watching me now, she talked of the fact that she wants to be where she refused leaving that place because when you are there, you are on the spotlight. Then no, the senator is not a showman to be on the spotlight. If you want to be on the spotlight, become a musician, become an actor, not a senator. The senator is in the Senate to defend the rights of the people, to stand and speak for the nation, not to be seen. And wherever you are, so far as they can give you time to talk, as per the rules and regulations of the Senate, then you can go there with no problem. It doesn't matter whether you sit in front or you sit behind, so far as you can talk and defend your motions that can be supported by the entire Senate and voted. Now, I will come to this critical issue that she herself raised. As a serious housewife, as a serious wife, you attend an event with your husband. A man makes advances towards you by promising you a treat in his house. And then your husband purposely would have noticed, because when she said, when the husband asked her, she said to herself, no, I should not tell my husband. It continued at home. The man still asked her, and she still did not tell the man. It shows that Senator Natasha is not a trusted woman. Because as a serious woman married to a man, if a man proposes to you, the best way to fight it over is to share with your man. You refuse sharing with your man. It means that you had other motives. Maybe you saw it as a bargaining power that you can have over the Senate leader. That is why you thought by telling your husband, he can destroy it, and you decided not to tell your husband. If you were that serious as you claim to us, I'm sorry to say this, I know a lot of women are going to come after me, but if you're that serious, why didn't you tell your man? And now, how do you think that man will feel? That what you refuse to tell him as your husband, as the person that is closer to you, you're not telling Nigerians. You're not bringing it up to all Nigerians. If I was in that man's shoe, do you think I would take you serious? And do you think Nigerians in their rightful senses will continue to believe in your story? I sincerely feel that Senator Natasha is not telling us the truth. Senator Natasha's motive are far from what she's presenting. And I want to say this to women. Women, stop victimizing yourself. Stop playing the victims in everything. There are some women, for example, whenever there is an issue, the first thing they do is to start crying. You must not cry. Put your points clear. I remember in court, in Douala at one time when I went for something. The judge was telling the lady, Madam, stop crying and make your points. Stop playing the victim. Stop bringing sex in everything. In this moment of our life, you just need to have an issue with a woman, and the next thing is bam, sexual issue comes in. Oh, he has asked me out. And so what? It makes a woman being looked as a sexual object, which is not good. Women are more to that. But for you to be respected as a woman, you need to start on your own self as a woman, to defend your right, to defend your political position, to defend your motions. A motion that is rejected today can be accepted tomorrow. And for you to think that to bring feminism in this thing by saying you're surprised that the other 3 women in the Senate are not joining you. No. Why? Why are you talking of the female senators? Why are you not talking about the men? It doesn't make the story. So, madam, please organize yourself as a senator, and as a barrister, you should do better.